I was going to make a different video today. It was supposed to be something funny. It would have made you laugh, I guarantee it. But I suppose I'm going to have to leave it for This Week in Stupid. No, instead I'm going to show you something really sad. In fact, the overwhelming amount of people that have seen this video, which has gone viral on Twitter, agree that it is very sad and horrible that it has happened. But then you have communists, like actual Marxists with a hammer and sickle in their bio, that are cheering that this has happened. So let's just watch the video together and analyze it and see who is right. Are the Marxists in the right, or are the normal people in the right?
Like, because I asked you to leave because you did not pay your rent. I asked you to leave my house. I wasn't evicting you. I didn't want to even put an eviction on your record. I just asked you to leave my house and you do this shit? Like, because I asked you to leave my house and you wouldn't leave, talking about, Timmy, you gonna have to take me to court? You do all this though? Like, I ain't never did shit to you, never. I gave your bitch ass a place to live when nobody else will give you a place to live. And you tear my shit up. Ain't no scam, bitch, cause ain't no insurance on this motherfucker. This is gonna come out of my pocket, bitch. You gotta have insurance to pull a scam, dumb bitch. Like, you did this shit to me because I asked you to pay me my money? I work hard every motherfucking day. I go to work and stay the fuck out the way. I don't bother no motherfucking body. I didn't care if you was in this bitch selling drugs, doing whatever the fuck you was doing. I didn't give a fuck. I told you, long as you keep my house up and pay me my rent, I wasn't gonna fuck with y'all. Ain't no landlord doing that shit. Because I know y'all gotta feed y'all family like I gotta feed mine, bitch. This what the fuck y'all do to people? I swear to God on my mama, bitch, if I see you, I'm going to prison.
Man, I gotta say, that really hurt. Watching that genuinely hurt. And I'm not a landowner, I don't rent stuff to other people, but I can definitely sympathize with a law-abiding citizen that just wants to feed his family and make a little buck on the side. I don't like making these videos because they sound a little bit preachy, but, you know, this is why I don't like Marxists. This is why I keep making these videos where I talk against them, because they are sympathizing with the person that did this. They are encouraging other people to behave in the same way. And there are actual people with BLM in their Twitter bio condemning the black guy who made this video and saying that he should be sent to jail because he is threatening the guy that destroyed his property. Like, let me try to explain some Marxist morality to you, because it's going to hit you like a truck. You know, normal people don't think this way. The problem isn't the guy destroying the property. The problem is the harsh language that the property owner has to say when he realizes that he has to pay for all of that. He is the problem. Like, he is the bad guy in this scenario. You know, people don't think this way. You need to be taught to think this way. Like, you need to be trained. You need to be radicalized by the Twitter. You need to be radicalized by some Marxist professor. That's how you become to think this way that no other ideology does. Like, there is no ideology on earth that would look at something like this and they would say, you know who's the problem? The guy that offered his home for sale. You know, like, I'm looking at these Marxists and it's so bizarre. Like, they constantly talk about, oh no, that isn't private property. Like, there is personal and private property. They're different things. The only way they're packaging it this way is by literally saying, oh no, we are violent thugs. We want to steal your stuff. We want to take your stuff away. But relax. Relax. It's not your stuff that we're going to be taken away, because there's a difference, right? Personal and private. You know, we just want to take away your ability to make money. That's what we want to do. Like, you get to keep your house as long as you don't give it to someone else to live in it. The moment you gave it to someone else to live in it, then it's his house now. Very interesting how ownership can just, bounce around from one person to another. If you use it, it's yours. The moment you stop using it, well, tough. Unbelievable. And you know what's really interesting? Like, they constantly talk about how much they hate landowners. Like, landowners are evil because they make money without doing anything. I mean, this guy is now going to have to pay to fix all of that. And there are laws that you need to abide if you're a landowner, but it's not like a Marxist is actually going to read the laws of the land. And you know what's interesting? They never complain about the bankers. Like, the bankers do the exact same stuff, right? Like, they make money out of nothing. They lend you a sum of money, and then you have to pay them back with extra. Why aren't they protesting the banks? Because the banks can defend themselves, right? That's why. Like, you're not going to do the stuff you see in this video into a bank. Do you want to know what Marxists are doing? When they go out and they burn entire properties and they set fire to cities, right? Do you know where they peaceful protest? At the Federal Reserve. All of a sudden, there is where they get to peaceful protest. Because they're cowards. They are absolute cowards. And what's worse than a coward is a Marxist ideologue, because they encourage people to behave in this way. They would want more people to behave in the way that this tenant did. Do you know what's going to happen? Like, any logical person is going to figure out, this tenant is going to be caught. This tenant is probably going to go to prison. And this is what Marxists want. They want to send more people to prison. Like when you have a Marxist professor that tells his students how to be revolutionaries and they end up behind the bars, who do you think is going to cry? It's going to be the student and their family, which probably paid a lot of money to go to that university and study in the first place, with the hopes that he will end up a productive member of society and not a person behind the bars. This is why I don't like Marxists. This is why it's a bad ideology that is taking roots in the West. And when Call of Duty is showing a little bit of Yuri Bezmenov, they're freaking out. And I literally seen people with blue check marks like, the people at Call of Duty noticed that the youngsters are into Marxism and that's why they did it. Good! It's not a good ideology. In my country, both Nazism and fascism and communism is banned. For a reason. This is the reason. Like, you can't have a society where people think this way. And you know what's even more annoying? Is that you would think, this is sticking it to the rich. This is going to make it good for the working class. It's going to make it good for the impoverished people. Do you know who actually benefits from this? The big corporations. Like, that's literally it. Why do you think, how dumb? No, seriously, just how dumb must you be to believe that if every single multi-billion-dollar corporation is on your side and they are pushing this ideology, that you're somehow fighting against the system? What are you talking about? What are you on? What are you smoking? I'm not an expert in economy, and even I can see how this benefits big corporations. And we're talking, about actual oppressive people like the slumlords and, companies that rent to a lot of poor tenants and they fix prices and, they never go there to fix anything because they know that what is the tenant going to do? Like, sue the big corporation that has a team of lawyers, which is so expensive you can't even afford to piss next one at a public bathroom? No, I'll explain to you what happens, right? Like, there's two types of tenants. You have the type of people that happen to have two apartments. There's many ways you can have two apartments. Like, you can get one as an inheritance. Maybe you decided to marry someone and both of you now have two, right? And maybe you don't want to sell it because you don't know what happens after a divorce. You don't want to be homeless, right? So you think, I'm going to sell it for like some small price to a random person that's going to live here, and I'm going to get some money on the side. That's what they're thinking. But no, like, these are the people you want to attack. These are the people you want to go after. So what will happen? Well, if this becomes a trend, if it becomes socially acceptable, like, for example, to pass legislation that you're not allowed to evict people because it's a pandemic, or, you don't have to get rent from people anymore for various reasons. What ends up happening is that people will stop renting, you dumbasses. What ends up happening is that the price to actually find rent, because there's fewer people that are offering it, is going to skyrocket. It's going to become unaffordable. The only people that are going to be able to still offer rent are the slumlords, the big corporations that now don't have any competition. All these people that are going to have houses and they're going to realize, well, if I just, keep it empty, I'm going to start losing money, so might as well sell it, and they're going to start selling it for a lower price. Who gets it? The big corporation. It's not rocket science. And the big corporation isn't going to allow this stuff to happen. Like, no, they're going to have a team of detectives, lawyers, and, they're going to make sure that they get their money back. It's okay, like, let's say the person can't pay tomorrow. That's no problem. Like, they're just going to have their name in a record, and the moment that person gets a job, they're going to get like 20 or 30% of their wage. This is what communists want. Unironically, this is what they want. This is why they love the big government and the big corporation. I lived in a country where no one could rent an apartment because no one owned it. The government owned it. Like, the government was renting it to people. That's the dream utopia, right? Where no one gets to own it except the government. Somehow, by some mental gymnastics, as long as it's an institution doing it, it's fine. Like, if a private person does it, it's not fine. But if a committee, if an institution does it, then it's fine. As if it's not still human beings at the top of that institution getting the money, right? So when the government owns everything and you don't own your house because you're paying rent, well, the government can kick you off. If they don't like what you have to say, they don't like your criticism, maybe they want to get a road that takes place through your house so they can just kick you out, or maybe they just don't like you. Maybe there's someone else that knows some of those people at the top of institution that has some reach, a little bit of nepotism, and they want your house, so now you have to move. Yeah, that's the perfect dream utopia, man. It's very difficult to watch these videos. And I know, like, maybe these videos aren't being tasted by everyone because, it's not nice to hear me being preachy. But, like, I just want to remind people why it is I do that I do. Why I don't like Marxism. I don't like fascists either. I just like freedom and liberty. And I think that the contract between two human beings should be sacred. If you sign something, then you should be upheld to it. I don't like people who break contract. Look at this, okay? Just as an example. Because they broke some windows while being kicked out during a pandemic, you want them arrested and presumably thrown in jail. Let's be real. Anyone kicked out during this can't afford enough lawyers to not go to jail. Like, since when is breaking windows acceptable? Like, you're talking as if the guy is a force of nature. You're talking as if he had to break those windows. As if, like he was locked up in a prison and he had to escape or something. There is absolutely no reason to break windows. And if you're genuinely worried, because I keep hearing all of the Marxists are genuinely worried about a pandemic, how many homeless people did you take in your house? Nothing's stopping you, right? Like, literally nothing is stopping you. If you are that great Samaritan, if you want to be the Jesus Christ, the bastion of morality to the rest of the people around you, take some homeless people in. Like, don't you have a couch? Don't you have, like, an extra... I'm pretty sure most Americans, most Westerners, even if you live in a one-room apartment, you can have another homeless guy bunk in with you. Surely you can, because in my country, again, under communism, when we were placed in those matchboxes, those brutal architecture of the USSR, those tenants, you had 2 or 3 families living there together. It's possible. Like, I'm telling you, it's possible. If you live by yourself in a one-room apartment in the West, you're already a greedy person. You're already doing the wasteful capitalism. So why aren't you bunking in with a homeless person? Like, talking about it, flapping your gums and lecturing others is very easy. But leading by example is a lot more difficult, and it would be a lot more effective. Like, by the way, you'd get a lot of public goodwill if a lot of communists would start taking in homeless people and bunking in with them. Look at this Karen, right? It's got BLM, it's got the black flag of communism, it's got the socialist rose, and it's like he's threatening to kill a homeless woman. Shit's going to get worse, and either the DNC or the GOP is going to help anyone. So your problem with this is the harsh language. That's literally it. Like, that, her problem with this is the bad language being used after finding your home in that situation. Like, that is, my God, I generally can't. I can't even. And then you get like, I don't know, maybe the landlord should have some savings set aside to cover something like this. Or even better, don't be a landlord. Like, man, again, these people, they don't understand the market. They really don't understand supply and demand. If not, like there is still going to be a demand for people that can't afford a house to rent something. And if there's far fewer landlords, eventually the prices are going to go up, you morons. Come on, a little bit of thinking, just a little bit. And the only people that are going to be able to give rent are going to be the big corporations that, yeah, you know, they're going to have something saved aside for people like that. Yeah, they will be able to do it, but you know what? In order to save, you need to earn. You can't save if you don't earn. That guy that started bursting in tears doesn't seem like a very wealthy person to me. I mean, yeah, sure, you keep saying there's a pandemic. Maybe his business got shut down. Did you think about that? You know, because you're all for shutting down businesses, but like, you're not giving money to the people that are now in the unable to put food on the table or are in the streets. You don't care about them, you know? I mean, you're going to lecture other people about how to treat the homeless, but I don't see them taking people in. Again, I needed to make this video for myself. I'm sorry. You know, usually I make videos for you guys, but like this, I just needed to vent a little bit because I was a little bit upset, you know, a little bit. Now I'm fine. Now I'm happy again, you know? Let me know what you think in the comment section. And, you know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys think that being a landlord is actually a bad thing. And if that's the case, I'm more than happy and willing to listen to your ideas. In the meantime, I'm going to go back on the tech boards to laugh at the people who bought 2080 Radeon 2 years ago for, what was it, like $1,500? And now NVIDIA is releasing a video card less than $500 that outperforms the $1,500 card they sold previously. There's a lot of tears right now. It's Salt Lake City on the internet. People are trying to sell it. Like, there are people trying to sell their 2080 Ti for $500. No one wants to buy it. Anyway, you know, conversations for another time. I'll see you guys in the comment section.